NVR. It is your main man, Vaping Midman, just coming right here at you on the main Vape News Network. We are just bringing... Hey, everybody! I completely forgot to do the time period for the mic, for the actual audio, but oh well, how is everybody doing this morning? We only got 3 in the room, but you know what? It ain't about how many's in the room, it's about the news. And let me make sure I've got Anthony's audio working. And how are you doing finally, Anthony?
Doing pretty good. It's been a little bit of a break here for us. So a lot of stuff going on and a lot of things in my life that are different than they were 3 weeks ago. So,
yeah, it's been crazy for me. Sunday was the first time I was actually able to stream for one. I'd been out of the house for 3 weeks. And let me tell you something. I am glad to be back home. Glad to be back doing the news.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine that, having to stay with somebody else for any period of time. It's just a little weird to your schedule. You know, it's just,
yeah.
It makes everything just that little bit harder.
Mm-hmm. It just gets crazy. But let me make sure everything is good to go streaming. I'm just double checking on... Okay, for some reason it's not connected to Smashcast or to LinkedIn, but it is connected everywhere else. So, I haven't checked Facebook, but I know it says here we're streaming. So, and there's 2 people watching. For those of everybody that are watching on Facebook, I do want to say welcome. If you want to participate in the chat, feel free to come over on YouTube. NVR Network. We are live on YouTube. That is the chat that we follow the most. But what we are doing today, as always, is we are giving vape news. There is a ton of news that I found, and let me tell you something. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, and some of it is ugly. And when I say ugly, I mean ugly.
Absolutely.
But let's get into the very first one, which was the title screen. Again, as you guys know, we call Gretchen Whitmer, her new name, especially on this channel, is Adolf Whitmer. And she has gotten another slap in the face by her state legislature. Because for those of you that remember, right after that Holy Volley issue, she passed that flavor ban, or she signed that executive order for a flavor ban across the board. A couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, because that was our last show,
yeah,
the courts shot it down. Well, her state legislature shot it down on their own, because what the court said was that she needed to do it through a legislative process. And she hands it over to her legislature, and, well, let's just say that she is probably not the happiest camper right now.
No, because she can't be a dictator, like she thought that she was going to be able to. And when she put this into effect, it was like she was using emergency powers and way overstepping the bounds of what a governor should be allowed to do, especially with a product that isn't killing anyone. You know,
Yeah.
if it was a poisonous thing and she needed to make, evasive action to make something happen. But the point is, no matter who's using it, it's still not killing them. So, yeah, it was a way overstep of her powers, and her state is now finally just pushed back, and it's working, which is fantastic.
And basically, I just gave you guys the link. This is from the Detroit News. I try as much as I can whenever I find news to get, especially if it's a local issue, like a state issue, to try to find news from that area and not just use across-the-board news. I cannot stand when people use across-the-board news and just talk about something that's not even from that area. But there were 6 bills that passed the legislature. Let me pop out this chat so I can actually look at the chat for when we get people talking, so that I can actually keep track of it while I'm looking at my actual outline. Let me check what that was real quick.
I imagine on the other side it just looks like a bat cave. You just have screens like everywhere. I can see the chat. I can see the outline. I can see the article. I've got like a little tablet here with my laptop and just feel inferior. Feel like Robin to your Batman.
Okay. Now, first and foremost, it changed. As everybody knows, Trump got the 21 plus nationwide, that it's supposed to be 21. This was a bill they needed to pass this year. Most states have already passed it. Well, in Detroit, Michigan, they passed it this round. It also, when they first brought this bill, they were wanting a 24% wholesale tax on e-liquid. Now, I'm telling you right now, they are lucky that they got it on just e-liquid. Because there are states, if I would have seen a 24% wholesale tax on vaping products, I would have been worried. Do I like a tax on e-liquid? Who does? Who the heck does like a tax on e-liquid? But what actually passed was a 18% tax. That's a lot better than 24%. But it's either would have been a lot better than an across-the-board tax.
Yeah, and realistically, you're probably looking at about $2 per 100 mil at a wholesale level, which is realistic. That's probably the most realistic tax I've ever seen come out. Not like you guys, not like Vermont.
We have a 7% or a 7 cent a mil tax.
Oh, I was thinking Pennsylvania.
Yeah. PA is a 20% tax on... Or no, 40%.
40.
Yeah, 40% on all products. But they got it knocked down, I think, to just e-liquid recently.
Still, 40% is considerable.
Yeah.
Ohio's tax is no fun either.
And this was actually done in conjunction with local vape businesses as well. They actually talked to the businesses and got their input. So that was a good side of it.
And to give you a comparison... From Michigan to Ohio, that same bottle of e-liquid, 100 mil, would be about a $2 tax in Michigan, is a $10 wholesale tax in Ohio.
Yeah.
So that was actually another good thing.
Now, a fail for the anti-vape, but a victory for us is allowing for the sale of flavored products. But in return for allowing for the sale of flavored products, there were 3 things that needed to happen, and they got all 3 things. For one, it was setting up licensing and enforcement for shops, which I'm all for. I am for licensing our shops.
Absolutely. And I don't think any shop that's legitimate out there would fight that.
Yeah. And then on top of that, and I'm noticing this as being a trend that people aren't listening to the FDA, because we should not right now be making claims as it is, health claims. We should not be, we should allow for people not in the business, like myself, or now since you're not technically in the e-liquid business anymore, Anthony, you can make the claim. Allow other individuals to make the at least 95% safer than combustible tobacco claims. Don't be making these blasted claims as a business. You are breaking the FDA final rule when you do that.
I understand where you're coming from.
I mean, let someone that's not in the business, that can do it legally because of free speech, actually make that claim. That was another thing that was banned.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard not to say that.
Trust
it just
me,
is.
I used to work in a vape shop. I know how hard it is.
So I think that's probably where part of that is. But I'm gonna follow it. The way this rolled out with the other things, I can roll with it.
And then what we have been asking for forever, it fines the clerks, not just the businesses. It also fines clerks who are knowingly or without due diligence selling to a minor, up to $250.
Yes.
And allows for state unannounced compliance checks. In all honesty, I support all 7 of these things that passed. What's your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, one thing you learn when you're dealing with people, and I've spent years of my life doing managing, and there's a lot of things you can threaten people with to get them to comply, and most of them don't work. But you start screwing with somebody's money,
Exactly.
that is a quick way to get someone to comply. I mean, why do people slow down every time that they see a police officer on the road? It's not because you don't want to drive fast. It's not really that you're that concerned about any of it. All you're concerned about is that money that you're going to have to spend on a ticket and how much it's going to cost you.
Exactly.
So I think that that part of that is probably one of the best things. My concern is that it's an up to fine. Like, I wish it was just $250 because, like, how do they decide the up to situation? Listen,
probably the way they're
anybody
do
that
it.
does this is contributing to getting vaping banned.
Right.
Anyone who sells to a minor, I don't care who it is, they are contributing to people like dying. Okay, so for me, that up to bullshit, I think it just should be, you get caught selling to someone under the age of 21, it's $250 every stinking time.
Well,
you
what
know,
I think
that would
they're doing
stop a lot of this problem.
I think the reason they do it that way is to make it where the first offense isn't as much, and then it just gets higher as you get more offenses. I think that's why they did it.
And that's fine.
Looking
if that's what they want to do,
standpoint.
I'm just making my point that I think that it should be a different way. But that's, that's okay. It also says on here that it does allow for state unannounced compliance checks.
Right, which I
think is great.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's one of those things, it's like the health department. They're not going to tell McDonald's a week before they're going to come by that they're going to get an inspection. Maybe they do that, which I think is ridiculous. It should be one of those things where it's like, hi, I'm Anthony. I'm the health inspector. I'm here to take a look around.
Yeah.
Because every day you should be in compliance of these things. So, and I think most vape shops that are worth their salt are probably like, here's what you do. Here's if somebody comes in from the, health department and they want to inspect, you invite them in, you let them look around. If they find something out of place, it's going to be on you. And I, at least in the shops that I've worked in, I would think that would be a no big deal. Like, they're clean and organized, and we have several sets of cameras and all kinds of stuff. So I would think for the normal ones, the places that wouldn't like that would be convenience stores. I
totally
personally
agree.
think, because
Agree.
I think every one of us has been in a convenience store that was so dirty. You're just like, God damn, like, how is this place allowed to sell food and drink? It's just, I'm on board with that. I love that it's exactly what Gretchen Whitmer didn't want, which is kind of icing on the cake with that.
Totally agree there.
The 21 thing, obviously I wasn't a fan of that and still am not, but if they're going to enforce this stuff, then I'm on board. Like if they're going to actually enforce it. But if this is just another law that they're going to throw down and then no one's going to actually enforce it, I just feel like we're wasting time. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. That is it for that one. If you have any again, guys, we want to remind everybody, we do not ask you, we are not like a lot of the YouTube personalities, not like a lot of the advocacy-oriented individuals. We don't want you to just listen to every word we say and take it for heart. We want you to actually go and read the articles. That's why we give these to you. And on top of that, we want your input. So I did include a link to the Zoom room. If you feel that you need to call in and discuss these issues, please feel free to call in. Phone lines are always open. But I will kick you if I have to. Or mute you. Now, lo and behold, Wisconsin comes out with something this past week saying, believe it or not, EVALI cases are down in 2020. But I have to say, they actually admitted some things in this article that were kind of refreshing. What did you think about that? Wasn't it refreshing that they actually admitted some things?
It is. It feels like that page 6 apology, but it is, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But it is, it's nice to have this as a reference tool to use.
Yeah.
When someone, asks that, you can be like, okay, let me show you this. And going back to what Robert said, that's why we give you guys these links. We want you to go out there and read this stuff and use it, have this ammunition when somebody brings this up.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be harsh. It's just like, well, in Wisconsin, they found this. Here's the link. And sometimes, facts do change people's opinions. So, but they, the admitting that it was THC related, that it was vitamin E acetate oil, that the companies that were manufacturing in this way have changed their ways. I don't think vaping numbers have gone down like drastically. And yet all of these, illnesses have kind of disappeared. It was basically everything that we knew to be true, but now it's, somebody from a state government, making that
and
proclamation.
just to give you guys a little bit of a thought on it, to show you how much it's went down. In 2019, they had 103 cases. In 2020, they've had 8 cases total. And like he said, they admitted it was THC related. They flat out stated that they didn't know the reasons, but it's probably due to the changes in formulation of THC and fewer people using them. Now, this is a direct quote from Dr. Megan Piper, who is a researcher at the University of Wisconsin Tobacco Research Center. People producing these THC products have learned from this and have really improved their manufacturing standards and are doing a better job keeping out the vitamin E acetate out of the products. I mean, how much more blunt could she be than it's THC products?
Yeah. Almost to the fact where she was like, I don't believe these companies are doing this maliciously. They just, used a product and didn't know that it was going to have this effect. So as soon as they found out, they made a change. It's not like marijuana smoking went down. I mean, it may have a little bit, but I would think for the vast majority of people who use that product, they probably didn't stop using it. They just went to a different brand or a different style or something like that. But that's the way I took it when she said that. It was like, they found that this was what was causing it. So all these manufacturing companies decided to switch to something else that was, not causing this problem, which is fantastic. But, do you feel
Yeah.
like this is a little too late kind of situation where the damage has kind of already been done?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damage has already been done. Doctors are already saying, well, Ivali came around. And and I think I do a doctor very well. And it's really
Maybe a doctor from a
damaging
90s sitcom.
to your lungs. So I do not think you should be using it.
I'm not going to get a big kick about doctors, but I think doctors should really know better when it comes to our situation. Smoking is bad. Vaping is nowhere near as bad.
Now, before we get to some of the bad information, because today we do have a lot of bad information. But the consolidation of companies for September 9th has begun. I don't like using Vaping 360, but they are the only one I've seen covering this. I searched everywhere looking for something other than Vaping 360.
Those of you who haven't watched the show before will know that I am a fan of Vaping 360, and he is not. And he's continually forced to use articles from Vaping 360 because they're the only place covering what needs to be covered.
Yeah.
So continue, my friend.
I just don't like, I've said this before, McDonald don't do all the research. Like, I'm still going to research this more. But this is one that really don't need a ton of research.
Yeah, but you can't hold him alone. I mean, look at our regular news.
Right.
I think he's doing more research than they're doing.
Not always. There's been times I've found that he hasn't.
There's been times. All right.
But basically what it is Avail Vapor has bought Giant Vapes, which they did, the purchase is going to make it to where they're showing the best of both worlds for both companies. Avail has the retail brick and mortar side, whereas Giant Vapes had the online side.
This is surprising, and probably not for the reasons that you would think. We have an Avail. There's an Avail that's less than a couple of miles from where I live. And I've been in Avail. And the first time I went in, beautiful brochure, very lavish kind of setup, really kind of strange testing setup. It was like little cubicles it almost looked like a cloning station. You just go over there and you vape on that thing and they take your DNA. What was weird was that a 15 mil bottle, and this isn't 10 years ago. This is like recently, where a 15 mil bottle was like $15.
What?
And they don't do very much business. They're very expensive, and they only carry Avail products. They don't carry like any of the other juice lines. So to add Giant to this, maybe it was their way of expanding, but they're just going to, absorb those recipes as their own.
Yeah.
So it's a very unusual setup.
Well,
the thing
Giant
about Avail
is more a wholesaler.
Oh, well, there you go. See, I didn't know.
Yeah, they have a ton of, they sell more than just, because I don't even know if Giant Vapes has their own e-liquid.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's what I assumed. Now, do you think that this purchase came out of reaction to the FDA letter that Giant Vapes got?
Could be.
Maybe they couldn't afford or didn't know what to do or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure, and I think that it's in here. I don't know what tobacco company owns Avail, but one of the big.
They used to, Altria.
Oh, they used to
own Avail.
Okay.
And they no longer own Avail. According
so
to
I don't
the
know
article.
how they stay in business. I don't know, and maybe somebody else in chat has a better experience with Avail.
We don't really
but
have
mine
anyone
was
in
not.
chat right now.
Yeah, well, so comment later on. Who knows?
Leave a comment down bottom if you know how Avail stays.
I start getting these thumbnails out on Saturday or on Friday.
What'd you say?
So we'll have to start getting these thumbnails out on Friday. That way, we'll get people some time to can get on. But that's okay. The replay is awesome because you just get to hear the truth.
Wendy, I posted a notification in the notification chat. I don't know if you're in the notification chat. I thought you were, but I did post it in the notification chat.
Yeah, getting notifications on YouTube lately has been really sketchy. So
at least I think I did.
We get an on-air apology right now, so what's going to happen?
No, I did post it in notification chat. So if you're not in notification chat, I'll get you in there. But I thought you were.
So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Avail being buying Giant?
I'm not definite on it. I think it would be a good move for Avail because they have the possibility of being able to carry more liquids. But I also think that they're probably going to either, one, close their e-liquid line and just carry other people's, which would be the smart move. Just close their e-liquid line and not have to worry about PMTAs at all.
You know, and when you actually said that, that's exactly what I thought, that maybe they just cannot get through the PMTA process.
Maybe that's what it is.
Another way to stay in business.
You know, people are just trying to prepare for PMTAs.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
Wendy, I'll check after the show, and if you're not in the chat, I'll throw you in the chat. But
throw her on over in the chat.
Okay, now for the bad news, which I'm actually very surprised that we haven't heard anything about either of these from Matt from Suck My Mod. I am very surprised we have not heard either of these. At least I haven't caught it. But first off, Montana is proposing a flavor ban. And it will be a permanent ban. They are taking public comments. They took them July 16th during a virtual hearing, but will also be taking them by fax or email through July 24th. So that right there is an article. If you want to go comment on that, feel free. The sad part is their permanent ban don't apply once again to medical marijuana or products sold by, and this by licensed providers.
I wanted to do the entire show about this article and the Colorado article because I want to break this article down. It is one of the most poorly written, lacking in evidence.
Yes.
They use words like research and then offer nowhere where the research came from. Just says like research shows. And there's one particular paragraph in there that talks about like and I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but like the Office of Public Instruction.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is that?
Well, we have, for this one, we had to do this one this week because
no, absolutely. I just think it's
24th.
Read this article.
Yes.
Okay, it is the biggest piece of dog crap that I have ever read, and it's all over the place. The statistics they have in here are wrong. The information they have is wrong. The way that she or he writes this is wrong. I mean, you read this thing and it's almost unreadable. It's so bad, and the information is so bad. It's like 80% of this article is complete lies. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know where they're pulling this research from, but when you see things that don't make sense or places where, you know, research shouldn't be coming from, that you should question that. And like I said, in some of the places, they don't even say where the research is coming from.
Oh, I know.
You know, and when you're in Montana, and so I wanted to see, because they said 10% of their high school students are vaping.
Yeah.
1 in 10 vape daily is what it said. All right. That's 6,000 students that are vaping daily. Okay. I think there's more of a problem here than this is going to fix. Just my personal opinion. All right.
Yeah.
If 6,000 kids in high school were snorting coke or hitting people with cars, there would be some enforcement going on. Like, they're just taking this for granted and saying, Okay, well, if they're really, which I don't believe that there's 6,000 kids vaping daily in their high schools, but if there was, where are they getting it from? There's got to be and so, yeah, Montana's just driving me. Like I said, I could do an entire show just about that article. It's that crazy. But
now, the
move
next
on to Colorado.
one, we have a long time, so we can focus another whole show. If you want to focus next week's show, if there's not any big news to come out, we can actually focus more on this one next week. But it's still good to give to everybody, because this just happened this last week. Colorado now has passed a bill in their state legislature to, instead of the legislators making the decision for a vape tax, to hand it over to the people. Which,
yes.
I'm giving you both the bill that was voted on, which was House Bill 1427, as well as the article from the Denver Post.
That's the one I want to talk about.
Now, here's just a few little facts on this. When they did this, negotiations happened with health groups and one member of the industry, which was Big Tobacco, because a lot of this bill, I was going through it, a lot of it is talking about Big Tobacco. So a lot of this article, or a lot of the bill itself, they mainly talk to Big Tobacco.
But Big Tobacco got the easiest of the situation here.
Yeah. It passed on 6/15, so just 5 days ago. So this last week it passed. Now, there's a tiered tax system for vaping.
It seems like there's a tiered tax system for tobacco.
Yeah.
Cigarettes the lowest, vaping the highest. But anyway, I'm going to try not to scream because this just, okay, go ahead.
The tiered tax system is starting on the day it is made law, it'll be 50% of the manufacturer's list price. So if you're buying e-liquid for $16.60 bill, guess what you're going to be paying? $24 a 60 mil.
Well, and that's okay. You have to go backwards though. That's not how that works. So if you're buying wholesale, because it's on wholesale.
No, it did not say wholesale in that. It said manufacturer's list price, which is manufacturer's retail price.
I apologize. I was confusing it with the other article. So, yes, manufacturer's list price, which is still inconceivable. But you have to back up and talk about the increased tax on cigarettes to put this into perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. So the proposed tax on cigarettes is going from 1 cent. They currently have a 1 cent tax on cigarettes. Okay. To 6.5 cents until July 1st, increasing to 8 cents on July 1st of 2027. So the first one's 2024, the second one's 2027, and then increasing it to 10 cents. Okay, 10 cents.
Yeah.
We're increasing $8 a bottle
on the first one.
On the first one, okay?
The second one for 2027.
And then it says that the pack price for cigarettes would go up from $7 to $7.25 to $7.50. How is 10 cents from $7 go to $7.50?
Yeah.
If it's a retail only thing. That's where my confusion was. It's like, okay, 7 plus 10 cents is $7.10. How the fuck does it go up to $7.50?
Yeah.
So where does that calculation go in? But anyway, getting back to the vaping part, I just wanted you guys to see how slighted this thing was towards vaping.
Oh, yeah. The second one is 56% in 2027. After 2020, so from 2024 to 2027, it would be 56%. Then it would go up to 62% after that. So just think about that. We'll use, let's say, for some weird reason, a 30 mil actually came out at $10 a piece.
Yes.
Which I've never seen 30 mils at $10 a piece. But
not anymore. No.
I don't even ever remember it since 2015 for quality 30 mils to be $10 a piece.
Okay.
Quality.
All right. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Like
I mean,
cut wood.
What kind of prices are you saying then? That they would be higher?
They were $20 a piece.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying they were lower, and I'm like, okay,
no,
wait,
they were like
I'm missing
$20.
something here. Okay,
I'm just
yeah,
using
I'm with you.
$10 to make it an easy round number.
Good. All right.
So at $10, it would be $5 tax. Then it would be $5.60 tax. Then $6.20 tax.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, what I think they're doing here is trying to take it because cigarettes already have their stamp tax and everything else added on the federal level to make it too expensive to smoke. I think they're trying to make it too expensive to vape. I honestly think that's what they're trying to do.
Right, because the other thing here that you have to discuss here is that we're talking about Colorado, probably one of the richest tax states in the union right now, and we all know why that is. But then you scroll down in the article, and it says this will add $450 million to their general tax fund, and then anything over and above that, which is they're expecting more than that, to come in will go for preschool education.
Yeah.
Okay. You're already talking about a state that gave money back to their taxpayers because they had an overabundance of tax money because of their legalization, laws.
Yeah.
Why do they need another $450 million? I can't fathom the platform behind this. Honestly, I think they talked to Big Tobacco, and Big Tobacco is like, yeah, you need to tax the shit out of vaping so that we can start selling more cigarettes.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you, I've got mixed feelings about this last part because they're saying for any modified risk tobacco product designation, they get a 50% reduction in taxes. Now, here's the thing. If we can get even one or two liquids through to get a modified risk tobacco product classification, it's not going to be as difficult for the others.
Oh, I agree. As soon as that happens, that changes the game.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that it's in here is for the IQOS.
Yeah.
Because that is a big tobacco product. And they're like, well, that's heat not burn, which is, technically vaping, but we want to go ahead and get a 50% tax reduction in this. This is all slated towards
big
tobacco.
Yeah. But because Big Tobacco does own Juul now.
They do. You're absolutely correct.
So, I mean, the whole thing is, if they can get the liquid from Juul with a modified risk, we would actually stand a chance. Because people don't realize this, Juul does have open system liquids. They do have refillable, they do have glass bottle liquids. They are not just pods.
Do you think, though, that if they did a modified risk, it would just be for tobacco and menthol, and then they would lock us in and say, well, no flavored products have a modified risk, license or
no, because once you get
designation.
that, it'll be much easier for the other ones. Once you get the first modified risk,
I want to believe you.
It will be much easier for the rest. Because they'll already have the VG. They'll already have the PG.
You're using logic, though. You're using logic and science, and they don't do that. That's my point. It's like Well, Juul will stay heavy because they offer a tobacco and a menthol product, but we got rid of our flavors a long time ago because we saw the risk, blah, 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 blah. And then the FDA can go, well, these two flavors have that, but the rest of them, we just feel like that the flavors add a risk factor.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give it that designation. I'm telling you guys, I hate being this, bearer of future bad news, but when I see stuff like this, I read between the lines, and that's the kind of crap that I see.
I mean, like I said, I'm torn on that issue.
Yeah. I'm trying to sway you.
I can see where the benefits would be. I can see where it may not be as bad on small business as people are worried about in Colorado, but I also see the bad side of it.
Well, but yeah, that means that all the Nicorettes and all of that stuff get to fall underneath that tax deduction as well.
Yeah.
Which, that's big pharma. So you just, anyway.
Now, okay. Now, let's talk our favorite section of Good Morning NVR. It is warning letter time.
We need a bumper for this. We talk about it so much.
Danger! Warning letter time. Okay.
On a guy walking to the mailbox and oh.
I wish I had something. I wish I was as good as Grim Green and I could have a video just for that, because I'd do it.
We'll see what we can do.
I just can't sit down to do it. So
yeah.
But okay. I was dumbfounded how many warning letters have came in 3 freaking weeks.
It's a lot, folks.
I mean, I sat down and went to the last one that we did. We have a Chinese company, Shenzhen Uptown Technology. They were partially pods. Then we had one, I'm going to save this one. All these are new ones. All these are new products.
We're not going through all these one by one. Just to let you guys know.
Yeah.
It's just way too many.
We're not going to discuss them all. We're only going to discuss a few. But, because there's one specifically I do want to talk about.
Absolutely.
There's South Texas Vapor, which had no ingredient listings. So, of course, the FDA considers it new. If you haven't submitted your ingredients,
yes.
I mean,
right?
It's common sense. Now, actually, there's two I want to talk about a little bit more in detail.
It's fine.
Arizona Swag Sauce. They are a decent-sized company. And they even got called on for new product. You've got the Vapor Smoke Shop with Juul-compatible pods. You're not even supposed to have freaking flavored pods in the first place. I mean, some of these are just stupid.
No, and this is what enforcement looks like.
Yeah. Products not listed. There's more that their products are not listed. MVS Richardson, Metro Vapors Burleston, Tiki Vapes. Those were the only ones for that. But then, for the easiest thing in the world, a simple nicotine warning label. 15 companies are still not putting the warning labels on. And I'm actually going to copy the link so that I can share it with everybody. Because then this way you can actually look at all these companies, and if you want to look at these warning labels or look at these warning letters, you can.
But let's put this in a little pile here. So in the 3 weeks that we've been off, so you're talking 15 business days.
Yes.
There have been 21 letters sent out. That's more than a letter a day from the FDA. Okay. Just to give you guys, put this into perspective. We're not going to go through every one of these, but there's 21 on this list.
And some of these are number-wise combined.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing.
But this is what I'd like to see the FDA doing instead of the PMTA process.
Yeah.
Like, focus your time on, the vaping industry has tried to do what it can to regulate itself, and I know there are always those black sheep that are going to cause problems. So the FDA's time is much better used dealing with people who are way out of line, that are way out of control in situations like this, than they are going after people who are doing everything that they can. I mean, one of the things that I do now is actually make labels for products. And if somebody from a vaping company asks us to do a label, I would know that nicotine warning has to be on there.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, I'd be looking at other labels to see how other companies had laid out the stuff, so I would know what things needed to be on the label. This is not a difficult thing, and labels are not that expensive. You can get a couple hundred labels printed for like $60.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm very disappointed in one of the companies, because I've actually reviewed some of their liquid on here, and that's Liberty Vapor. They're out of Pennsylvania.
I didn't have time to read every one of the warning letters. So what did Liberty get accused of?
Not having the nicotine warning label.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's just... And I didn't know... like I said, I scrolled through some of these, and I wasn't sure if it was like something on their advertising. I didn't see if it was actually on the label or what the situation was.
Well, no
like
matter
it wasn't
what,
on their website. Or I'm with you.
Don't matter if it... Because everybody knows... Let's be blunt here, guys. We've said this since day one. If you are being sponsored by a company and you are advertising liquid for that company, whether it be a review, if they are sending you that for free, you are a paid advertiser. Let's be blunt about it here, guys. If you're getting it for free, and Anthony, you used to be working for a vape shop. If you sent
it used to be.
Yeah. That if you sent someone, like you sent me stuff, and I reviewed most of it, unless I told you flat out, I really don't like this, and I really don't want to give it a bad review, but I left it up to you.
Sure.
I threw the ball in your court. But you probably would expect a review unless someone came and talked to you about it before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just like with me, I'm sponsored by E&B Flavor. I don't get new liquids in unless I review the old ones. So, I mean, that is my payment for the review.
Absolutely.
People don't, and there's a lot of YouTubers, they don't look at it that way. They look at it as though they are just sending me free stuff. It's team free crap. And you know what? I'm getting it for free. If I review it, I review it. If I don't, I don't. Yeah. No, it is a verbal contract between you and the person that gives you the product. You release that it was sent for review. That is releasing that you had a verbal contract to review that product. Bottom line.
Yeah. And then you have to take the necessary steps of putting up the nicotine warnings and all of that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But that's just responsible. That's just being responsible. And as we know, not everybody is responsible.
And that's why anytime even when I do it, when I put up a review on Instagram or here on YouTube, that's why that nicotine warning label is flashing across my screen every single time, because I am not getting my company that I represent ever flagged, because I'm always having that. Even when I post them on Instagram, it may not be on that thumbnail, but the second you open it, you see that nicotine warning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple fact there. And there's a lot of people, they're throwing it up for like 5 seconds and that's it. No, it needs to be on there the whole time, because it's supposed to take up 30% of your advertising. So at least if it's running across continuously, it's always there.
The only one of these letters that really surprised me was Tasty Puff, because as I understand, Tasty Puff that I knew was just a flavoring agent that you put into things to change the flavor. So I didn't even know they were like a vape company or had things with nicotine.
Well, see, I'd never dealt with Tasty Puffs, so I had no idea about them.
They used to advertise in High Times magazine all the time. That's the only reason I knew what they were. But and maybe they have scrawled out into the vaping thing, but
Now the one that really ticked me off is Stem Sticks. Did you get a chance to read theirs?
No.
They are supposedly taking. First off, they got false or misleading advertising. Second, they got modified risk claims. And then they got a nicotine warning label. All three of those in one company. First off, they were giving the modified risk claims saying that it was the cleanest e-liquid in the industry. Saying that they had none of the bad stuff. No acetone, no diacetyl. Which, even if you don't have it, the FDA don't have proof that you don't have it. So you can't make that claim unless they know it. Then on top of that, they were claiming that it had stem cells, that their flavoring was made from the stem cells of Swedish apples. Yeah, their flavoring was made from the stem cells of Swedish apples.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I didn't know the Swedes were doing apple stem cell research.
Was good for your lungs.
Gotcha. Wow, that's amazing. That sounds awesome. I want a few bottles of
that. But they're making all these off-the-wall claims that make no freaking sense. Just because.
And once again, this is what the FDA should be doing.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I heard about this on Vaping 360, but I came back to this. I wanted to actually read the actual warning letters, because that's where you find out the bulk of it.
I'm just going to start keeping a list of how many times you say Vaping 360 was right.
I didn't say they were right. I said I went to the source.
That's where they went to get their information. I love you, Jim McDonald.
Hate you, Jim McDonald. You suck.
We're going to have him on the show one time, and I'm just going to be over here like, oh, Jim.
He ain't ever stepping foot back in this network. Never. Because I tear him up and down, up one side, down the other every time.
And quit using his research. Get your own research.
I did my own research. I try to do my own research.
Yeah, if you guys don't know that Robert and I argue like a married couple, then you obviously haven't seen the show before. All right, well, that is all of that. What you want to talk about any of these other ones? You just want to let these people take a look. Like I said, it's 21 warning letters, but I can't stress enough how this is what I want the FDA doing. I don't want them testing e-liquids I know are safe. I want them going after companies and making sure they're falling in line with what needs to happen. Nicotine warning labels, ingredients labels. You need to have all that information on there like you would for any other type of product that you would sell anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Little Debbie has to put their ingredients in there, which is just oil and sugar. I'm sure. It's really
and I am going to make a statement. There is a Smiley National Incorporated. I put a little note on there, but I'm going to be blunt, guys. That is not Steve's Smiley. He did not reopen. So don't think it's his Smiley.
I'm sure there are lots of companies out there with Smiley in the name, so.
Probably.
Yeah.
But he was known as Smiley E-Liquid.
There was one letter that got sent to Vapor Smoke Shop, which was what the company I worked for used to be called a long time ago. And I was like, well, maybe and it's like in North Carolina. I was like, nope, not us. But, it was one of those ones I was like, did he actually just find a letter that got sent to them for something? I'm like, that would be awesome. Because I think if you're a bigger shop, you're probably going to get a letter from the FDA from time to time for something. It can happen. but make the changes that are necessary and fix it. You know, if you're like, wow, I mean, I don't know how you couldn't know, but I guess, you know, in this world, there's a possibility like something I didn't know that I had to have a nicotine warning label on there. Well, you should, but if you really didn't know, you got a letter and you fix that problem, that's what we're looking for.
And guys, just so everybody knows, I still am not seeing any whatsoever accepted PMTAs. And what are we, June 20th?
I think we're right about 50 days away. No, it would be like 48, 49 days at this point then.
I mean, guys, let's be blunt here. No, it's more than that, isn't it?
Well, you've got...
If you say business days, maybe.
Oh, yeah. So, you got July and August. So you got 31 and 31. So that's, 62 and 10 is 72 and 9 is 81.
So we're
total
81 days away. Yeah. And there's none. Do we really think anybody's going to get it through? That's the question of the day.
Yes, I do.
Do we think somebody's going to get submitted before September 9th and get accepted?
Accepted, but approved? No. I mean, it's going to take them some time to approve one.
Right. But, I'm saying accepted.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's make a guess. How many do you think will get accepted before September 9th?
Are you saying like out of everybody that turns one in, or are you saying everyone that turns one in before September 9th?
Before September 9th. How many do you think will be turned in? Because here's the thing. If they're not turned in September 9th, every vape shop better be taking them off the shelves. Because they're not able to be sold.
If you're going to take it off your shelves, let me know. I'll come by and fill up the trunk.
How many do you think will actually get accepted?
That's a good question. It's not that I'm just thinking. Because I'm trying to think major companies. I'm going to lowball it. I'm going to say 20. I think 20 will be accepted. I'm not saying they'll all be approved, but I think 20 will actually be accepted.
I don't even think 20. At the most, 9.
All right, folks.
September 9th.
You heard it here.
And I think we'll be lucky to have 9.
So we're saying that less than 20... We'll say less than 20 Robert wins and 20 or more I win, and whoever wins, the loser has to wear a dress on the next NVR network.
No, I am not putting on a dress for anything.
So you don't believe that what you're saying is correct?
I believe what I'm saying is correct, but I
obviously
ain't saying
not.
I'll put on a dress.
Obviously not. What?
For one, I don't have any dresses, nor does my girlfriend, that would fit me.
Do you think I won't send you something to wear if that's the situation? All right. Yeah, I love people that want to spout out what they think, but then when the rubber meets the dress, you can't step up.
Okay, it's a deal.
You want to get some viewers? Let's put you in a dress. All right?
No, let's put you in a dress, because I know you probably already own a couple.
Well, you never know. All right.
But let's make it even better.
Okay.
Full makeup.
Oh, that's no problem. I mean, it's the right month. So.
Here's the thing. Let's do it the democratic way. We live in America.
Okay. But we're not.
This video gets.
As you've told me 1,000 times, it's not a democracy.
This video gets, and this is going to be easy, 75 likes. That bet is on.
75 likes. All right. Does that include ads on Instagram?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on. Because you know I could do it.
No. 75 likes on this video on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay. All right. Challenge accepted.
Let me guess, you're going to just contact everybody you know and say, hey, just go like this video for me.
Well, we'll see how many friends I have.
But we do that. I'm calling Mark out. He needs to come on as Melania that same night.
You mean Drew, not Mark, but yes.
Drew.
And that's Manlania?
Yeah, Manlania. Yeah. He has to come on as Manlania.
Only if I lose.
No, if either of us lose.
No, he would definitely not go for that. He might do it if you lose, but no, the dress. Okay, I'll take that. 75 likes on this video.
So that's a goal. 75 likes. I could have said 200 likes.
You could have, but then you're just basically you're basically setting a tax to make vaping illegal. Is what you're doing with that. All right, I'll do it, but only if we get 200,000 views on this video. It's like, all right, that's
75 likes with 100 views.
Well, it's been nice to be back.
Yeah, same here.
Nice to talk about vaping. Yeah, the Colorado and the Montana stuff needs a lot longer discussion, but one of these times when we have a little bit of time, we will, unless something else dramatically comes up in the news, which I can't imagine anything being in the news lately. So, no. But that's why we come to you guys. We just want to try and keep you informed about vaping as much as possible, and about what's going on in your state and other states, just so that you can, join with us, do those posts and those phone calls and all of that kind of stuff. So we appreciate you all.
Oh, and by the way, Anthony.
Yeah.
You can't count your like in the likes. So your like don't count. I haven't
actually liked the video.
Okay. So your like.
So I'm safe at this point. I typically don't like the stuff I'm in. I don't know. That's my feeling about it. Everybody's got their own opinion, but I don't like my own Instagram posts. I don't like my own Facebook posts. I don't do that. I feel weird about that.
And Jen, if you're watching, you are not allowed to like either.
Jen, we'll talk.
But we are heading out of here, guys. We will see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Talk to you later, guys. Hey, if you like what you've seen here, there's much more to come. Just click one of the two boxes up here in the corner. And you know what? If you've liked it, make sure to subscribe. Just click the little button right there. Talk to you later, guys.